Back at Mullet Arena with head coach of the ASU Sun Devils, Coach Greg Powers. Coach, last time we talked to you, you had just come off a pretty tough start. And now you've gone into Northern Michigan, get 2 big wins. Do you feel like you're starting to make strides?
I do. I feel like really, the last 6 games we played, by and large, pretty good hockey. We just weren't getting the results that we wanted, and it's nice to go on the road and get rewarded, get 2 wins, and road wins count for more in college hockey. So any road win is really good. Any road sweep is huge. So we're trending in the right direction, and we're playing good hockey, and the week off has been good for us.
You talk about the road. This team has been on the road a lot to start this season. Can you look at that as an advantage where it gives you guys an opportunity to bond, or is it, gosh, you'd really like to be home a little more often for that home cooked meals and the opportunity to play at Mullet?
Yeah, it was the exact opposite last year. We started 4 straight at home, and then I think 8 of our first 10 at home, where this year 8 of the first 10 are on the road. So if you want to have success in college hockey, you have to learn to win on the road, and we're being forced to do that very early. We feel like we should probably have 2 sweeps right now because we gave them one away against Air Force. So we're playing well on the road. And even when we went to Providence, both games were really tight. Both games could have gone either way. I thought we were actually the better team on Saturday, and their goalie was unbelievable. So we've cut our teeth really well on the road. We're playing well on the road, and now the results are starting to come with 2 wins.
We talked before the season about how these first non-conference games were going to be very important and set the tone as you start to play conference games in the toughest conference in college hockey. When you look back over this first 8 games, how do you think you've fared? Regrets, or are you happy with the way you've progressed?
Yeah, I think a lot of the glaring positive is we've outpossessed everybody we played. So our possession time, our puck possession is really good. That's a good thing. Now we have to get to the inside in the offensive zone and get more bodies in the net because we're not scoring like we usually do. But getting our top 2-way center back in Artem Schlein, you could feel it last weekend. He's a big 6'1", 205-pound center that wins faceoffs, and that's one thing that we weren't doing well at all was at the faceoff dot. But everything's trending in the right direction. We like our game. Defensively, we're really good. We're structure's there. Guys are bought into keeping the puck out of our net. We've done a good job at that. I think our expected goals against through 8 games is just under 2, which is pretty good. So we're playing good defensive hockey. I would rather this early going into a league play be shored up on the defensive end than the other end, and we are, and we know the goals will come. We got to get to the inside and get bodies in the net, and we've been practicing that a lot.
You talked about getting Artem back in the lineup and how important that was to getting the bigger body around the net, but you still have some guys that are injured, and it's really kind of, you don't want to use that as an excuse because everybody's got players hurt, but can you give us any kind of a timeline? We've talked about Cruz Lucius a lot on this show and what he's going to bring through the transfer portal from Wisconsin. Any timeline or what we can expect to see him back in the lineup?
Yeah, and in that his loss has been big. Him and Artie both huge losses. Now Artie's back and it's great, but Cruz was projected to be our most potent offensive player, right? He led Wisconsin in scoring the last 2 years, and he dinged himself up 5 days before the season started, lifting weights, and it's probably looking like he's going to be out for the next 8 games, and then we'll get him back for the 22 games in the back half. We're fortunate that the back half is loaded with more games and then league playoffs. So we'll have him when it matters most, and he's going to be a huge shot in the arm. He is a really, really good hockey player that we're very fortunate to have, and he's gonna give us a lot when he comes back.
And then you talked about Colorado College a year ago, kind of did the same thing. They kind of struggled off the start of their schedule, and they were really competitive in the back half and just missed the NCAA tournament. So that back half's really important for this team. And you look at, so we talk about Cruz Lucius, but we have to talk about the other guy that we talked about preseason is Cullen Potter. Yeah. And we got to see him firsthand against Michigan and what the kid can bring. What are your early thoughts after 8 games for this kid?
He's been everything. He's probably been a little even better than we thought he would be. I knew he would be really effective with how well he skates and how competitive he is. His IQ's off the charts. He can play both ways. He came here as a B-rated prospect. 6 games into his college career, they moved him to an A because he's ready for this level. He just is, and we knew that he was, and he's proven that he is. I think by Thanksgiving, I've always said this, he's going to take another huge step. He has 2 goals, 2 assists right now. He could easily have 6 goals. He hit 4 posts last weekend. He actually scored a goal that they called back that should have counted. The replay just didn't have the angle that they needed to overturn it. But he's been tremendous. And the best thing about Potsy is he plays both ways. He's competitive. When he doesn't have the puck, he's pissed off about it. He works his ass off to get it back. He tracks incredibly well. And he's just going to get better and better.
The one thing I want to ask about a 17-year-old kid on the ice, I was very surprised how he was able to fit in playing against men. To be honest. But have you noticed what the adjustment has been like for him off the ice? Because he's a 17-year-old kid living in a college community and have to do things for himself. How has he adjusted to just life?
The guys have done a great job really incorporating him into our culture and understanding he's 17, and almost, taking him under their wing as a little brother, so to speak. But when you see him around our guys and interacting with the staff and everybody within our program, it's no different than any other kid. He's really mature, and that's why he can pull this off. That's why he has so far, and he'll continue to. He fits in. He's one of the guys, and if you didn't know he was 17, you would never know. You would never know.
I want to talk a couple more players here. Noah Beck's a guy we got to interview a few weeks ago. Big kid, big defenseman coming out of Clarkson, another transfer portal kid that you were hoping would fit into your lineup. Well, he has, and he's tied for the lead on this team in points with 9. Are you happy with the progress he's had already this early in the season? Yeah,
you figure out these kids, especially the ones that you have just for a year, like Noah and Ryan Kerwin and Artie Schlein, and with Noah, like most players, how he practices directly translates into how he plays on the weekend. So he's had, we've had 8 games, and I think 6 of the 8 games he's been really good. And the games where he hasn't been quite as sharp, you could see it in practice during the week. So it's something that we've really focused on with him, and I've been, individually very hard on him in practice, and he looks really good right now. I think he has a chance to be a pro with his size and his skill set, and he's off to a great start.
You talk about be the tradition here. We talk about it a lot. You see it on the walls. You're 8 games in, and you've talked about these guys coming from various programs from all over the country. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing this locker room to come together as one, even though they're from all over different programs? Do you see them carrying the be the tradition slogan on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, obviously the guys that return, it means a lot to them, but you can ask any of these kids that, we do things a little different here. We're outside of the box. We're not traditional, and they like it. They really gravitate towards it, and that's a big reason why they came here. Guys like Ryan Kerwin and Artie Schlein and Noah Beck had a lot of options out of the portal, but they wanted something unique. They wanted something different, and they're all embracing it, and they're all playing really well for us. And once everybody kind of comes together here, and we can start to finish some chances, I still think we have a hell of a team.
And then you look at your goaltending. It's always important at this level or any level that you have solid goaltending. And I talked about Gibson Homer. Man, first of all, when he plays, he is a massive human being, and he covers a lot of net. But beyond that, he's athletic and he competes. Yeah. Where do you think he is at after 8 games? And are you happy with? He's had a couple of games. A couple of goals. I'm sure he wished he had back from some of those games. But how is he playing at this point in the season?
He's playing great. At Providence, I think that was probably the Friday night Providence game was his stinker of the year so far. 3 goals that if he's sharp, they don't go in on him, right? So Gibby's biggest asset is obviously his athleticism and his size. And when his hands are out front and he's not playing small, a 6'5" kid can actually play small, and when Gibby's not sharp, he's playing small. But when he's not, he's almost unbeatable. And the way he bounced back from Providence to Northern Michigan, he didn't have a lot of action in Northern Michigan, but I think it was 5 minutes in, and I turned to Hicksy and I said, they're not going to score on him tonight. They're not going to get a lot on him, but they're not going to score on him. You could just feel it. So when he's on and he's competing and he's playing big and his hands are out in front of him and he's controlling the play that way and he's presenting himself, tracking the puck like he can, he looks like a pro goalie already, and I think he will be, and he's close. And Luke has been really good. Mm-hmm. Luke should be 3-0. He should have got the win in Air Force. He was unbelievable at Providence. They got both goals bounce off our guys, and then he was tremendous at Northern Michigan. So we have a good problem. We have 2 goalies that are playing really well, and I won't complain about that.
Yeah, and if your team has confidence in your goaltending, we've seen teams where they don't have confidence in their goaltending, and that makes it hard to play every night. Once you believe in your goaltender, the sky's the limit. I do want to talk about, you went to Northern last weekend. You have this weekend off. That gives you an opportunity to practice at home, which you haven't had a lot of right now. Does this extra time really help you prepare as you get ready to start the NCHC schedule?
It's huge. Like this week has been such a blessing that we've never had. Yeah, as an independent, you have to play pretty much every weekend. We had no weekends off the entire first semester last year, and it gives us a chance to kind of peel back the onion, work on a lot of things that we need to work on. It's a huge development week for our players, breaking them up into smaller groups and getting a ton of touches and getting so much work in, which we've done all week. It's been a really cool thing that we haven't been able to experience as a program that we will now moving forward. And you could feel the guys really confident with all the touches and different things that we're working on to try and score more. That's really the only thing that we're not doing right now. We're defending well, we're breaking the puck out really well, our transition's really good, we're tracking well. We're just not scoring, right? So we really focused on some things we can do differently to start putting the puck in the net next weekend.
We talked about you going to CC to start your NCHC, the program, the first dipping their toes in the water in this big conference. Then you finally get to come home. It's been a very long time since this team has been at home. You get to play Nebraska, Omaha. I know you don't want to look past CC, but you got to look at all of these opportunities you're going to have at home. Take care of the road and then just win those games at home. Are you excited to start seeing this campus start to catch that little bit of excitement of what ASU hockey can be?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, we felt it in stretches, obviously, throughout the last couple of years at Mullet, and the Michigan weekend was awesome. I mean, you know, the comeback and beating them in a shootout was tremendous. It gives our guys something really to look forward to. We can create that environment every night we're in here. And, you know, as we get into the NCHC and get deeper into league play and closer to playoffs, we really want to, and we think we have a team that can host a playoff series. So to host playoff hockey in Mullet is the goal, and we think we can do it.
It's funny because I've sat and I've watched you coach at Oceanside, and I know you played at Oceanside, and just sit and think about playoff hockey in the NCAA in the best conference in hockey at Mullet Arena is really exciting. Coach, thanks for taking the time with me today. We got to catch up when you get back into town, and we can't wait to finally go to another game at Mullet. It's been too few and far between.
You and me both.
But thanks for taking the time, Coach, and wish you the best of luck next week in CC.
Thanks. You guys are awesome. It's always a pleasure.
We all silly like the mayor.